I want to talk to you about exporting part of your photos, like a collection, as a catalog and importing it into another catalog. Like for example, let's say you're on the road and you created a catalog for that road trip, which is what I do. And then, you're retouching all your photos and you're coming back home. Well, you can, take all your photos or just the best one, whatever you want, and you can export them as a catalog. And that way, all the retouching you did, everything, it's there and you can import it into your main catalog. So let's say I'm on the road, I'm in New Zealand. This is some of my best New Zealand work, and I've got 25 photos that I want to import into my main catalog. We're going to pretend for this video that the main catalog is the catalog I've been working on, the Lightroom training catalog. So I have all these photos selected, okay? I'm going to press Control A or Command A to select everything. So they're all selected. I'm going to go to File and Export as a catalog, okay? And for now, let's say I'm just going to put it on my desktop. I'm going to call this New Zealand, okay? And I have the possibility of exporting the negative file, which I advise you to do by default, it's on. You can export the Smart Preview, which is a great idea because it's going to have to redo them otherwise. And whatever preview, it's already included. The preview is, what is there when you see the photo for the first time in Lightroom. So I'm going to call it New Zealand and I'm going to export it. So it's going to export 25 photos. So not only it exports the photos, but it also exports all the retouching, all the star rating, everything, okay? And if we look on the desktop where it exported, it created a folder called New Zealand. And in there, you have the whole structure: Drawable, Serge Remeli, Photo à la Totale, Paysage, New Zealand, and they would, it has the entire structure that's there, okay? And the thing is, now I can import it as a catalog. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here, open a recent, I'm going to change catalog, I'm going to go back on a Lightroom training catalog. So when you do that, it always says, do you want to back up? I'm going to say skip this time. All right, so here I am. I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go for Import from another catalog. And I'm going to go to New Zealand and click Choose. And then, you have to go to the New Zealand LR catalog, Choose, and there you are. And it's going to import, it's going to open this window, okay? And basically, this is all the photos that's there. It says File Handling, add new photos to catalog without moving. Or what you could do is copy new photos to a new location and import, which is usually what you do. And on this one, for example, I'm going to go to, I'm going to pretend I'm going to do it on the desktop and I'm going to call it Import New Zealand. But, that could be your external hard drive. That could be whatever you want. For me, I'm just putting it there. And change existing photos. No, nothing. Okay, show preview. Here is the preview of what we're doing. They're all checked and we import. And what that's going to do is that it's going to import this catalog. So what it did, it imported all the photos. And if you look where they are, if you right click and go to folder in library, you will see that they are into the import New Zealand folder we just created, but then it kept the exact structure that was there inside of that folder. So you just have to think about that when you export catalog. This was like a very complex structure already. See, import New Zealand is going to create the entire structure that I used to have before on my old catalog, and so it's just something to keep in mind when you export. Usually when I export catalog, it's very simple because they are on my MacBook Pro. I have a catalog, which is my traveling. I retouch my photo as I go. I export as a catalog and I import in my main catalog. Now, since I pay Dropbox $75 per month, I have another system now because when I'm traveling, I'm putting all my photos on a special folder called Travel. And that folder is my Dropbox. When I'm home, it's already on my main computer. And all I have to do is synchronize my travel folder. Let me show you how I do that. So all I have to do, so let's say I've been traveling and I've been retouching my photos on my catalog, which is really cool. All I have to do when I come back, because Dropbox is working all the time, and this is, again, $75 per month to pay to Dropbox. You really have to be a professional to pay so much money for that. So all I do when I come home is I know my photos are already in travel photo. For example, Barcelona, I just did a book. So every day I was shooting, it created a folder per day. I shot, 1,801 photos in Barcelona. They are all in my folders. But all I had to do to get into my main catalog, instead of doing the exporting and importing catalog, all I did, and that's because I use Dropbox, I right click, I click synchronize folder, and that's going to look anything that's in this travel photo that's not already in this catalog, and it's going to add it. Now, there's one little trick before you do, and it's going to import everything like it did here. There's one little trick. If you're like me and you're on the road and you're retouching your photos, and you're giving star ratings and you are working on the road, which is what I did when I was in Barcelona. If you want to make sure that whatever you did on the road, let's say you're working, using the same technique as me. So you're working on the road, you're retouching your photos, but you're working on a Dropbox folder, and so your photos are being sent to the cloud and to your home computer, like I'm doing. If you also want to get the retouching to be included when you do that, you have to, it's just a little trick, you have to take all your photos, and this is something you do on your MacBook Pro, while traveling. So you're doing your retouching, you're doing everything on your catalog. Once you're done with your retouching, you take all your photos, you right click, you go to metadata and you say save metadata to file. What that's going to do is that anything you did on the road, star rating, color rating, retouching, everything is going to be written on an external XMP file. Let me show you what it looks like. So for example, if I take this photo and I right click and I go show in Finder, you see what it does. If every photo, not all photos, but every photo that has where something has been done into Lightroom, for example, the photo 100, well, there is an XMP file for it. It's going to create a little XMP file for every photo that I retouch. So then when I do my synchronized trick, not only I'm importing the photos, but I'm importing the retouching. But this is only if you're using like a Dropbox kind of system where all the photos you're taking, everything you're importing as you travel goes into the cloud and goes into your main computer. That means I use a MacBook Pro that's got 1 gigabyte of SSD on purpose. I didn't want to buy a 256 or a 512. I wanted 1 gigabyte so that whenever I'm traveling, I can import everything on my MacBook Pro in my Dropbox folder, in my travel folder. So they all come to my computer. I save the metadata so that when I just synchronize my main folder, all my retouching is already done. And you just have to think about saving the metadata. It's just an extra step, but it works really well. I'm so happy I don't have to come home and re-import the photo into my main computer. It's already there. So that's really a very effective way of doing things. It's just expensive, $75 per month, because I have terabytes and terabytes of data, and so you need to go unlimited, and that's the price of unlimited with Dropbox.